So welcome, everybody. Willkommen. Susanna. Wow, okay, you don't need to say anything, right? To this group process. Now, I don't know who has done process-oriented group process. I'm sure many have experienced group process according to Mendel. Some may not have. Who has not? Christian, right? Rolli and Rolf. Okay, so it's a very experienced group, I see. Great.
Let's say, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
There are some elements.
I'm also, yeah, of course, there are elements of process-oriented group process to any gathering of people who discuss anything together. I want to say, to come together as a group of people, this is a format that has been around for several thousand years, I would say. In tribal societies, people gathered and discussed things. And some elders were present, maybe sometimes there were older people, sometimes there were even younger people who had some rank. They had some sense of empowerment, and we heard this morning, coming from various sources and contexts, to facilitate, to add, to welcome everybody. So this is really the first step, to welcome everybody. To invite everybody, to welcome everybody. And not only the people who are here, not only you as people, but I would say you and all your dream figures, you and all your dreams, you and all the ghosts that we bring to this table, coming from your history, from your family, from your personal background and cultural backgrounds. So welcome to all voices, to all dreams, to all feelings, to all body and body experiences. That is deep democracy, the invitation to the different levels, to the different people, to the different spirits. Because we need all of them at the table to discuss and debate together. So we have a sustainable solution. If you're staying on a rational level, as I tried to explain this morning, some unprocessed feelings may come in later and sabotage consent, results of Verhandlungen, of negotiations, which is often the case. Then people say, yes, this is a deal. Machen wir mal ein Beispiel. Yes, that's, I agree. So here you see a ghost. This is a dream figure that's not brought in consciously. And that will come in later and sabotage whatever we concluded. We have 90 minutes, so we spend maybe 45 in actual group process, I would say, or maybe maximal 60. So we have some time to introduce ourselves to each other maybe also, and then to debrief. Also es gibt auch Debriefing heißt Nachbearbeitung, eine erfahrungsorientierte Nachbearbeitung, an experiential debriefing. So I feel it's a luxury to have this much time. Right, so usually we say a few things so everybody's on the same page about how the format will unfold, what is the format of group process. And so the first thing is that we will sort. We have a board here. We will write down all the topics that you mentioned that you're interested in. By the way, do you want to say your names to each other, or would that be something? Or? And where you're from? I want to welcome you personally. Who are you? Matthias from Zurich. Okay, let's everybody say their names.
So I'm Barbara from Switzerland.
Ara. Ara is present. So we go this way.
Katja, from Zurich and originally from Russia.
My wife. So, in terms ghosts and unmentioned things, right? So, mention everything.
Patricia from Zurich.
Peter from Bern, Switzerland. Christian, European Swiss from Aarau.
Susanna from Zurich.
Susanna from Zurich.
I'm Terlo from Tours, Switzerland.
Gertrud von Rubigen bei Bern. Jenny, Rostock, Germany.
Rostock, okay.
Erika from Switzerland, but now from Mali.
From Mali.
Africa, Mali.
West Africa.
Right, right.
Speaking French.
Welcome.
I'm Rolf from Zurich. I'm Beat from Zurich. I'm Roland from Zurich.
All right, and I'm Reini from Zurich. Good, great. Yes, okay. I'm obviously a white man, married. I'm middle class. I'm a psychologist. I have some educational background. I'm not going to church anymore. I'm, as a married man, I'm heterosexually oriented. Everything that you see, I'm short-sighted. I have some gray hair. Just mention everything that you see anyhow, that people will notice anyhow about yourself, as you welcome people. So each group, each meeting, each team, when you go in and work with them, has a certain atmosphere. You smell and sniff a bit the atmosphere. How does it feel? How does it feel? And whatever you feel, that's a rule, is what the group feels. What you feel is also, you may not be the only one, you're probably not the only one that feels that. So the whole group is in you too. All the different positions are also in you. You feel them somehow. And that's important that you go inside and sense yourself when you enter, before you enter a group, and notice all the various parts in you. You already know what expects you, more or less. Like a hologram. The individual and the group are connected almost holographically. The same pictures on each level. The same structures, similar ghosts, similar parts. This is one option, is that we come together, that the group comes together, and we already have a topic. We already have a topic. We don't now, but that's a possibility that we gather because we want to work on racism. Or we gather here and we sniff out the atmosphere of this group. How does it feel to be here now? Or we sort and find topics that interest you, that we want to look at. So these are the various options to start with. Sorting is the first step. We sort. We find several topics that interest you. We collect everything that interests you, that has a little bit of juice for you. It's okay? And then we need to find a consensus. What do we work on? You want to work on homophobia, somebody else may want to work on this area of town and problems in this area of town, and then we will find some way to make a consensus. Like noise, notice the noise implicitly, or notice everybody agrees basically on one issue, it's implicit, the consensus. Or also, three say, oh no, I have a different issue. You would say, That's great, but could you maybe for now go along with the chosen topic, and those other topics that you're interested in will maybe be processed at another time. So even if you're not into it completely, you may give consent that we can go in this direction. That's very important. It's not a 100% agreement, never. There's always somebody who would like some other topic. Each topic brings up a whole bunch of other topics. Let's say we would choose to work on the children, that they were there, right, the children. Let's see, we have issues, or we want to work on how to educate and how to be with children. Now, children brings up a whole bunch of subtopics, or topics that are connected to children. What comes to your mind? If we have, just as an example, the umbrella, under the umbrella of children, what are some topics that come up, some major big topics? School systems, the school system, education, right?
Drugs.
Pardon?
Drugs.
Drugs, exactly, depending on the age, these kids, luckily. But yes, in general, yes, drugs, education, school. Huh?
Culture with education.
The different styles of education, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The change of the relationship after children has been born.
Yes, for the couple also, right? Right. So the partnerships, patchwork families, family systems, also. What else?
Computer games.
Absolutely, it's a big topic now. Mm-hmm.
Job sharing.
Job sharing, yes, exactly. How do we manage this? This was very difficult for Katja and me to manage this weekend. Where are the children? Who takes care of them? Mm-hmm.
So responsibilities.
Responsibility. Mm-hmm. Parent-child relationship.
Playfulness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you see, there's a whole bunch of topics, and you would have to be aware of the many different topics that may compete with the topic of children and youth. Suddenly, in the middle of the group process, we have people who start to talk about school and education. Now, is this really what we wanted to focus on while we said we want to focus on youth? So there will be competing issues, and if you're aware of the possibilities of issues that come up beforehand, we know, aha, we've mentioned it, it's here under this umbrella. Do we really want to go there? No, we want to stay, for instance, on talking about children, and maybe we want to bring up all these issues, but then we can decide again. Is drugs somebody we want to now go on for an hour, or is it maybe it just needs to be mentioned and understood that this is also part of it, but not in the main focus right now? So I give a little bit of an introduction, right? Once we have a consensus, let's say we take a topic like the drugs in Zurich, the drug scene in Zurich. It's not a very big topic anymore, but when I was young, it was a big topic. And around each topic, there are certain roles, certain positions that constellates a topic. Right? So if you hear a topic, you know more or less right away what main Vectors influence that topic. Welche Kraftfelder beeinflussen dieses Thema oder machen dieses Thema aus? For instance, in the old days with drugs, what was it? What were some of the main vectors? The Bloodspitz, just let them do their thing. Just hope was just they should just shoot up, and this one, Bloodspitz. The police, that's it, enough now, stop it.
The drug dealers.
The drug dealers, right, yeah. The consumers, yes, Bloodspitz, the dealers and consumers, and the police, you could say. This is some main roles there. Any topic is constellated by a few main vectors. Now that's good to know. It's not 5 roles, it's not 7 or 8 roles, it's just 3 main roles. Arnie used to say 3, 4, not more. And it's basically true. Then, as we go on, there may be ghost roles coming up. You notice with the issue of drugs, for instance, suddenly you speak about some people making money, and that there is an interest in not solving the problem. Some people have an interest that we don't solve the problem. We make a lot of money. So that would be a ghost. So suddenly ghosts come up, big feelings or parties we mention here, but they're not here. Ghost roles, working with ghosts is I think one of the keys in process-oriented group process. That you put it in the room, that you can talk to it. You can talk to Nestle, you can talk to the Bundesrat, you can talk to Brabeck, you can talk to whoever you want to. Just put them in the room. If they say, if we're workers and we all complain about the bosses up there who don't listen to us, put them there. Put them in the room. And then, as the process and the interaction unfolds, you will also be on the side of the boss. You will say things or notice internally, oh, this was a very boss-like thing I just felt. Then, real process starts where you notice your role fluidity. You start to notice, I'm not just on one side. I just suddenly notice them on the other side. And the role rotation, when it's possible to rotate roles, then we're moving toward relaxation and coziness together. If we're polarized, as long as we're polarized, we're fighting, we're in a battle. And in the beginning, we need to polarize to make the conflict clear. But then, as we process things, maybe we come together. Because we notice we're on different sides, we're on all sides. In that Croatian group process with the Serbs and the Croats, in the beginning, nobody was on the Serbian side. Then, with the pain expressed on both sides, suddenly people notice my pain is your pain is my pain, and from that moment on, the roles started to switch. And I could be a Serb, and the Serb could be a Croat. A very crucial moment. Another crucial moment is the hotspot, when something happens that shocks the group. A controversial issue comes up and everybody goes, freezes or giggling, you know. What topics usually bring up giggles? Wow. Sexuality usually. Hast du gleich gedacht?
Yeah, gender.
Gender things and sexuality and things that come always on the last day of a group process seminars. So that would be a good intervention. Do what comes last first. It's a point of instability in a system, a hotspot. And we need instability in order to move on. If we're like the Kugel in einer Schale, how do you say, if you're like a ball in a Schale,
Pinball in a ball.
we cannot move, nothing moves, we're sort of stable, which is nice to be, it's a comfort zone. But for change, we need to leave the equilibrium a bit. So hotspots are moments of disequilibrium, possibilities, doors to new experience, if we hold on to that hotspot. Now, it's easy to talk about it. You will see that I will have trouble and need all your help to identify hotspots later in this process. Thank you for understanding me, I can see. To notice such hotspots is crucial, because if we don't, the issue cycles, the conflict cycles underneath, and the hotspot will come up again and again, except that the whole thing gets more violent, for instance. Or if we miss the hotspot altogether, the group gets bored and there's no interest. And we think, what are we here for? Let's better go home, or I think there's no issue here anymore. And we get a little depressed and hopeless. So this holding on to the hotspot, to that situation is crucial, and then to look on what constellates that hotspot, what voices are in that hotspot. In the terms of sexuality, for instance, some people will say, yeah, just have open and free sexuality, everybody's giggling, and some say no. And then we need to go deeper into both sides to unfold what's there really. If you can speak, if you feel you got to the limit of what you can say, you reached an edge, personally. And we will try, facilitation will try, and others, people here will try to help you to express it fully. And that's the beauty of group process. If I create a role here and I say something, I'm angry. And maybe you feel he's not angry, he's just saying he's angry, but he's quite balanced still. You may come to me and stand here and say, here we are angry. So we will help each other to express those roles fully. And we may get to an edge, and we may need help to really express this side. And then the other side may need help too to express that other side. That scares me, and maybe express feelings on this side. So this is the difference between a hotspot that grabs the whole group versus edges of each side, communication edges of each side. The rank thing, we went on this morning, we went a little bit deeper into it this morning. When we have debates here, the different positions have various ranks. The dealers had maybe more rank than the users, right, in that Platzspitz situation. They ran around, had a lot of money, and had some stuff that the others wanted, so they had some rank. And the others, the users had the least rank. They didn't have money, they didn't have food, they may have been suffering a lot. Right, then group process is about relating different positions. That's basically, I would say, the definition. That relationship, to create that relationship until there is a cozy spot. Until we feel, we're coming together. Do you have any questions to this short outline of the steps now into the group process? Anybody has a question, Rolly?
Well, this is a group process where everybody agrees we're in a group and we're coming together to do a processing. So how can you apply those principles in situations where maybe not everybody is ready to use the group processing, but just wants to get his point across? Wants to get his point across,
yeah.
And maybe has more rank, more power for whatever reason, and you're trying to mediate the situation so that it's not so one-sided.
I guess that's the one very common situation, that the parties don't come to the table, right? Before that, maybe you use diplomacy and other means of mediation and negotiation to bring people to the table. In the conflict schema of zum Beispiel Friedrich Glasl, I think this type of group process, he would attribute it to certain stages of conflict, not to all. And Arnie has started to take that on too, saying that if people are not willing to change roles and look at the other and trying to see the world through the eyes of the others, it's very difficult to do group process. So there are limitations. So on the diplomatic level, they use money, they use blackmail, they use whatever to bring the parties to the table. As a facilitator, if you facilitate between Assad and the USA, let's say, it's very important that you're able to support both sides. You run from this side to the other side, and you go to Assad, spend a few hours with him, then you run over to Obama, speak with him, and you're sort of a messenger. But they never come into the same room, for instance. But the concept of the ghost role relieves that. If the party who's not coming to the table, just put them in the room. Just talk to him, to her. Right? As a role, we all feel the influence of that role, but nobody stands in that role. So imagine she's here and talk from her side, so that people can interact with that figure. Beispiel. I worked in a school recently where they kicked the teacher out based on some fingierte abuse or something, which happened or didn't happen, nobody really knew, but the teacher had left. And everybody had a lot of questions to the teacher and why and what she's doing now and where she is. And I just said, no problem, I'm the teacher. I knew a little bit of the situation, so I just said, okay, I'm her. Talk to me. And with a little bit of imagination, fantasy, and knowing the situation, I could basically answer those questions. Right? No, I'm not coming back here anymore. No. Are you going to come back? No, no. Is that difficult for you? Yes, I miss you. Why don't you come back? I had a Kündigung. We didn't know. And after a while, the kids really relaxed. And they felt, they knew, some of their questions were answered. Also die Geistrolle aufstellen ist zentral. Ist zentral. You have a problem with a stern father who isn't here, put the father in the room. It's very simple in a way. Once you understood that you don't need to be the father, you can just sort of on a dream level be the father. Just say, clean up your room, clean up the mess. And then you have the interaction that could never happen in the past, for instance. So I do this also with one-to-one client, that I put in ghosts and dream figures that are not here. Ja, gut. Other questions? I hope that, yeah.
I would like to start.